What is up, everyone? Maxlin here, and welcome back to another episode of Themindhere. This is my bi-weekly update to everyone about upcoming works for this channel, discussing what I do behind the scenes, and talking about other things that come to mind. It also serves as a way to keep myself accountable and externally motivated to get my work done. If you're interested in how I make my music and videos, feel free to take a look at some previous episodes. Welcome to all of you who are here for the first time. If you're interested in my content and want to see more, please consider subscribing. First and foremost, I want to wish everyone a happy Father's Day, since this video should be coming out on Father's Day of 2020. Now, for this Father's Day, I decided to do something special for my dad, although I'm pretty sure you guys can guess what it is. I made a transcription of a song by Owl City called Not All Heroes Wear Capes. This song was made by Owl City, dedicated to his father, so I thought it would be a nice song to make a piano cover of for Father's Day. And this song actually has two purposes of why I made it. The first one being that it's dedicated to Father's Day, but also because I wanted to make a piano cover because I wanted to play it for my dad. So hopefully, I still haven't played it yet, but later today I should. Hopefully that goes well. But that is the second reason why I made this piano cover. Now, I am very proud of the song that I made within just 2 weeks, which is quite fast for the transcriptions that I usually make. However, I think I can make some improvements on it. Future improvements could be more on the FL side, where I look into the instruments to make sure that I can make it sound more realistic and just tinker around with some of the mixing with it. Now, one important thing about this music video is that the art for this was not made by me. The art was made by my friend Joy, so thank you, Joy, so much for the art. It was a lot better than probably what I would have been able to do, so thank you for that. And of course, I've linked her socials down in the description, so please make sure to check them out. With all the content that's been coming out recently, I thought I'd mention and update to you guys about the next projects coming up. So I'm still going to be working on this channel, but it's going to be more on the internal side. My next projects include changing some of the logos and some of the art for my channel, as well as creating some intro and outro music and some other music for certain videos on my channel. So those, they won't be necessarily the normal videos coming out, so normal content on my channel might not be coming out for a while, but that is what I'm going to be working on next. And then of course I will still be putting out, I'll try to put out another video hopefully by the end of this month, but realistically in July. So look forward to that. Let's talk about current events. With the COVID pandemic, a lot of people seem to be looking at current events more these days, watching the news and looking at the numbers go up for COVID cases, COVID deaths, and just other current events in general, just on the news. Now, a lot of people also seem to be surprised that all of this is happening, or shocked that the numbers are so high in some places. But if you really think about it, if you're just looking at the current events, you're going to be surprised. Events are the output of something. Events are just what comes out of it. So if you're just looking at the outputs, of course you're going to be surprised because you're not understanding what's going on within. So every day you turn on the news, there's going to be something different. Current events will happen and you'll be surprised. Then you'll be enticed to come back and the news companies will get those ad revenues. Now, if you really want to understand what's going on, look beyond the events and towards the behaviors and behavior patterns. If you look at some of the trends, for example, for COVID, you might now see that, oh, okay, it's no wonder why the number of cases is going up and the rate of it is going up. It's because the graph looks exponential. Or, oh wow, the graph is starting to slide off and go down, so the cases are dropping. If you look at the behavior and behavior patterns, then you'll be able to understand why they're happening. And of course, the most important aspect, but probably the hardest to find in all of this, is a purpose, a reason. Why is this happening? Why is something happening? If you look for that, and if you find it, then everything will start falling into place because then you'll see, okay, so this country decided to do this because they have this motive behind it, and then things will make sense. Of course, this is not what the news companies want, right? Because The news agencies, they want you to come back and get that profit from the ad revenues. So what do? They show you the numbers only. Rarely do they explain or go into the trends or the data. They just say, oh, okay, here's some numbers. Wow, amazing, right? And then come back for more. So if you think about it, right, if you want to understand what's actually going on, you have to look beyond just what's happening and look at why. How is this happening? And the news agencies in general, they're not very helpful, and they're not going to be pointing this out to you to enlighten the public, because that wouldn't be good for their bottom line. They're dependent on people coming back every day to watch their news, so then the people that get ads on their channels will then pay them more. So the profit motive here is not what's going to enlighten you. The profit motive is what's driving this current event-based news, just looking at the events and then trying to make everything over-exaggerated and not trying to tell us what is actually going on. So the profit motive really isn't going to be helping us here. We have to look in for ourselves in these cases. Alrighty, we have a question from Alfred Prose, and he asks, I've seen many artists burn out, losing interest, lazing out, and quitting. Waiting for inspiration is one of their excuses, and never come back making anything. What's your thought about this? For a very skilled artist, but lazing out to never make anything new, what are your thoughts? That's a good question. I want to dig in a little on the question itself as well as some aspects of it. So, one thing that I want to make clear and flesh out is the idea that creativity is not something that's on demand, right? You can't just say, I want to be creative right now, so make myself creative and then do creative work. That's not really how it works, right? Because, first of all, I mean, modern science doesn't even have a clear understanding of creativity flow states and all of that, right? But there are factors that can improve it. A few being some like experience as well as enjoyment in the activity, good sleep, etc., right? Also depending on the time of day, whatever. But creativity is not something that's on demand. It's not something that's efficient. It's going to be something that takes a lot of trial and error and thinking, and over time you might get better at it, but it's something that's not going to happen the minute that you say you want it to. Now, because creativity is not on demand, I want to make it clear that some of these claims may as well be true, that they're burned out. And so we should treat them, even if they're not actually burned out and they're just lazy, we should treat these claims as such, because we don't want to encourage artists to keep burning themselves out and putting out work that they don't think is creative, right? So if an artist claims that they're burnt out, they've lost inspiration, let's treat it like that and make it understanding for them. And as for why an artist is not making anything, there could be many reasons why. One thing could be that they're taking a break, right? They could have lost inspiration or interest in that subject. They could have moved on to something else. Something personal might have happened or something like that, right? So there are many reasons why an artist may have stopped producing content. This might be a temporary pause so then they can deal with some issues or gain momentum, motivation, or it might be a permanent thing where they've moved on from this. And it is important that an artist takes breaks, or everyone should be taking breaks at some point, because keep going at something for a long time and you'll eventually run into a case where you feel burned out, right? So taking breaks is necessary, and the foundation of everything you do is your health. If your body is not healthy and capable, it's very unlikely that you're going to achieve what you want to. Now, on the flip side, addressing Alfred's second question about the artist that is very skilled, but doesn't make anything from that. So I think there's a good Chinese proverb that sums up this situation well. Boiling dumplings in a teapot, no way to pour it out, right? So what this means is that that dumpling is the talent, right? So you put it in a teapot, but then even if you have that talent, it's functionally not there if you can't pour it out. So the metaphor behind this, the reason behind this, is that if you are an artist and you don't use that skill, then that skill is functionally not there. You might as well not have had it, right? Because you're not using it. And if you are skilled, but you aren't using it, chances are in a few years, you won't be skilled in it anymore because you're not practicing it, right? So it goes both ways. If you're not using it, it's basically not there, and you will probably lose that skill. Now, for artists and other creators out there who do feel like they're burned out, if you still want to produce some content, you don't have to make things that are the highest quality or creative, because I think that you can put out some of the test videos that you do, videos of some experiments that you're doing or some things you're trying out. That would be something that might be cool. It's like a little inside look that audiences can get into. So I think that even if you are burned out and if you still want to produce content, you can still do that. Of course, you can just completely stop content, and that's fine, because for each their own, right? So if it's all dependent on what you want. And of course, I'm no expert on this, but if you do want to produce content, then something, even like update videos or something like this, uh, that could be content that you put out. You don't have to put out creative content all the time just because your work is known for being creative. All right, that's going to wrap it up for this episode. Thank you everyone for listening. I appreciate all the support that you have given me throughout this process. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please feel free to let me know down in the comments section below. Take care, and I will see you all in the next episode.